into your clothes and come.
Ok. O que se passa aqui?
I'll wait for you in the sitting room. I've just received a note from Inspector Lestrade, a letter from the suburbs. He is in need of my presence. Whenever he has asked for my assistance, it has always turned out to be entirely justified. I fancy that every one of his cases has found its way into your collection.
Yes, they all seem worthy of...
However, I regret your fatal habit of looking at everything from the point of view of a story instead of a scientific exercise.
Holmes, you...
I beg your pardon, I digress. It would be much better to examine this letter than to try to convince you.
Está a chover. Começamos aqui. Temos aqui o Watson.
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
Ok, vamos lá. Address.
I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter.
Estava com pressa.
A wax seal with the monogram E.B.
EV. O que quer dizer EV? Rotate. Ok, temos aqui Coat of Arms.
The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
Uma família. Abbey Grange, Marsham, Kent, 3:30 a.m. My dear Mr. Holmes, I should be very glad of your immediate assistance in what promises to be a most remarkable case. Ok, mais caso remarcável. It is something quite in your line. Except for releasing the lady, I will see that everything is kept exactly as I have found it. But I beg you not to lose an instant, as it is difficult to leave Sir Eustace there. Your faithfully, Inspector Lestrade. Ah, não percebi muito bem.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always, it appears to be a case of murder.
Mais
So you
assassinato.
believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so.
Ah,
Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
pronto, vamos então seguir para lá. Abbey Grange. Exatamente. Para a casa.
Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid to raise a right.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
Picture.
Baron Lyndon Brackenstall.
Ok.
Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
Já estou a ver que é uma família já de muita riqueza e tradição. São vários lords.
Lord George Brackenstall.
Exatamente.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning room.
Então, vamos pelo meio. É aqui?
Lady Brackenstall
Não,
awaits
aqui é
you in
para a
the
rua.
morning room.
Vamos para aqui.
Lady Brackenstall
Também não é
awaits
para
you in
aqui.
the morning room.
Ora. É aqui. Ah.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself.
Ixi,
My
levou
name
uma
is Sherlock
castada.
Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss.
Só se tinha
Please
casado há
accept my
um ano.
deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Ok. O que é que aconteceu na noite
Can you
anterior?
describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have
Claro.
already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Ok. Depois já foi a empregada que veio lá assisti-la. Is something missing?
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
Ok. Vamos lá fazer a análise. Fresh breezes. Pale cheeks. Oh. Ok. Gold brooks. Canguru, não sei o quê. Australian origin. Tem um canguru, mas não sei o quê. And emu. Ok, de origens australianas. O que é que nos diz mais aqui? Elegant dress. Tem um vestido elegante. Tem aqui o anel, wedding ring. Old breezes. Ok. Também tem manchas, marcas já antigas. Not a happy marriage.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Old bruises.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time,
Pois.
out of control. Again.
Again.
Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Your ladyship?
Ladyship. Ou seja, há a possibilidade de ter sido ela a orquestrar isto tudo. Cá para mim, temos que inspecionar a cena do crime no dining room e o room onde ela está agora a descansar. Aqui esta sala. Vamos lá ver o que é que temos aqui. Também temos aqui a Teresa. Vamos falar com ela. A empregada.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
Certainly, sir. Last night.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw three men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
Wrinkles. Cara, tanta coisa. O que é que estava a dizer? Handkerchief, vinegar smell, resurrection, carrying. Ressurreição. Tem aqui uma mancha. Carrying. Ai não, coffee stain. Vou ser aqui. Working hands. Então é uma empregada, não devia ter working hands. Ok, temos aqui o T. Ok. Okay. Scratches.
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame.
Oh.
A trapper's hut.
Trapper's hut. Há um cofre.
This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it.
Ok, temos que pedir a ela para abrir este cofre. Temos aqui uma mesa também. Newspaper. Family business booming. The Randall gang is back on the street. The gang has been in business for some considerable time, being a family of three, a father and his two sons. The elder, Jack Randall, is a man in his 40s and already grey-haired, while of average height and build. Being the mastermind behind the burglaries, he retained control over his sons, both of whom are close in age but very different in appearance. The first son, William Randall, is tall and broad-shouldered, with a small, disproportionate head. The younger brother, Melvin Randall, is of a somewhat weaker constitution, and is as skinny as a rake. To England. Be alert, and may your valuables, acho que é assim, stay safe. Ok.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Exatamente. É muito parecido. Ok. Então, o que é que temos aqui? Criminals identified. Randalls are well known. Temos aqui uma cena. Randalls blamed. The robbery was faked and the whole story invented in order to blame Sir Eustace's death on the Randalls. Pois também já disse isto. Se calhar. Não sei. Or Randall Gang. The testimonies and evidence match and point to the Randall Gang. A cena é que já estava ali o jornal. Isto pode ter sido uma história inventada pela mulher e pela empregada, não é? Epá, mas pronto, vou pelo mais lógico neste momento, acho que é isto, não é? Porque realmente as coisas batem certo, as descrições. Ok, acho que aqui não há mais nada para ver, ou há? Não, há mais qualquer coisa. Ainda não está tudo. Deixa-me ativar o T, a ver se encontramos mais. Ah, será aqui do cofre, exato.